So I thought we'd dedicate today's video to Keira Knightley.
All right, go on.
So she's an actress. She has one of those like little kind of boyish, nymphish bodies with A-cup breasts, asymmetrical little nipples, and they were doing a photo spread. And she said, "I'll go topless under one condition:
That you don't Photoshop.
that you don't alter or my boobs and make them bigger, because
Now,
they always do that to her."
She just showed me the image, and I went, wow, that girl doesn't have any titties.
Exactly. So every time she's in a movie poster, they give her boobs.
Oh, God. I remember when I was in preteen, whatever that, when you're supposed to be sprouting boobs.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer myself.
And I didn't have any titties. I remember one time my mother, I had to have a bra. So she got me one of those little training bras, and there was nothing to hold it down. And the first day I wore it to class, I had my bra on, and I raised my hand, and the little fucker went up around my neck. And I had to reach under my sweater and pull it down, and it was mortifying.
My mother has A-cup breasts, and she's always shared how, like the family would talk about it, people in public would say it. Her mother-in-law went down in the front of her and said, "You really don't have anything." So we have this thing with small-breasted women that they're not feminine enough. And then
can you imagine if we went around putting our hand between men's legs and feeling their balls? I'm sorry, your balls are just like little nothings.
That dick, I'm sorry, it's too small.
Little walnuts.
Forget about you. No, you wouldn't. So I really admire that she's going out there and she has like an asymmetrical, one's a little bigger, like most women.
Yeah, by the way, as an artist, I can tell you, you draw a line down the middle of anyone's body, eyes don't match, chin are different, titties different, hands, legs, the whole. We are not symmetrical. That's an idealized image.
Exactly, but I love that we're not symmetrical, though. When we do the workshops and you see all the breasts and their different sizes and shapes.
Some here, some there.
But there is something very healing about seeing a real nude body.
Yeah. We need to see more nudity, and that's one of the things that, well, listen, all the organized religions know this. They're out to control the body. You must be covered. I mean, look at the Muslims, for Christ's sakes. That's a perfect example.
Every religion
They're walking
has
around
a
like this.
When I was raised as a Christian fundamentalist, you had to wear a skirt, you had to be demure, you couldn't show off anything. Your skin had to be covered because you inspired lust. There's no responsibility for men and their sexuality.
I forget that about you. That's not fair. Oh, that was a terrible thing to have to go through.
But I'm glad I did, because it's the opposite end of the spectrum of a burqa, but it's the same thing, that women should be ashamed of their bodies and divorced from them. Now, why? What does that do?
Well, it represses you. You have an inferiority complex. Everything about you is wrong. Nothing is right. And drawing the classical nude was what healed me, because I was looking at all these nude bodies.
Real bodies.
Real bodies, big ones and skinny ones, and male bodies, and muscular and no muscle, and skin and bone and little blubber. And we would draw it all. And you eventually learn to see
the
beauty in every body. Now, Europe, every time I went to Europe, nude beaches, the Ile de Levant was a whole island that was nude.
It's so healing just to be nude and comfortable and see real nude bodies. And what's really bizarre is when parents don't want their children to see them naked or to see real people naked, like at a nude beach.
And so both Carlin and I had the advantage of our parents were, not my father, my mother, would be naked in front of us.
My mom was an artist. She had A-cup breasts.
And you saw them all the time.
And I saw them all the time, and the first penis I ever saw was my father's, and it was flaccid, and he was walking to the shower. So I knew what a man looked like.
Yeah.
It wasn't shocking to me, and we all bathed together as kids.
I played with my little brother's weenies all the time. They were funny-looking little things.
Well, it's part of that self-discovery
phase
that's healthy and natural and not abusive.
Absolutely. Not at all.
But as Americans, we're so hyper about that stuff.
Oh, God. That mothers are afraid their children are going to see a nude body, that we are terrified of titties, that we will, God forbid, we'll never see cock and balls.
And it's the most natural thing.
The most important part of our bodies are our genitals, the reproductive organs, and that is the fig leaf. We haven't gotten anywhere near away from the fig leaf.
Well, that's what we're working to do because we have
Yeah.
a right, a fundamental right, a First Amendment right to see real images of real genitals.
Yeah, and real bodies. And that's the healing part of the body sex workshops. We are in the nude. And it's
And what's interesting is the women always say, like, they're a little nervous getting undressed. I meet them at the door nude so that they feel, and you advised me to do that so that they feel comfortable. And halfway into the first day, they'll say, I don't want to put my clothes on ever again. Like,
yeah,
I love being naked.
it's so free. I feel so good. And you don't have to be perfect. When you look around the circle, you see there's no such thing as perfection.
No, it doesn't exist. And I applaud Keira Knightley for showing that she's a beautiful Hollywood actress and she's not perfect. And she said, you can show me naked if you show me how I really am.
We're all different. We're all beautiful. And as soon as we learn that, the happier we're going to be. So look in the mirror, and if you do, I can't stand, find something about your body that you appreciate and look at it and say it out loud. Oh, I love my thighs. They're beautifully shaped.
Look at those dimples on my ass.
Or I love my navel. Isn't that a pretty little thing? Or I love my left titty. It's shaped perfectly. Or I love my right eye. Ooh. Find something and then love it and let that spread.